Hello, everybody. Hello, Deborah, and hello, Debbie. Wow, all the way from New Zealand. What time is it there? Let's see. I think you're about, is it like 18 hours ahead or something? We were in Australia and Tasmania back in, I think, 2019, and we wanted to go to New Zealand, but we couldn't fit it in. We needed to go to Sydney, and we went up to the Great Barrier Reef, and because my husband, that was on his bucket list to dive there. And then we went back down to Tasmania to see family, and we just couldn't fit everything in. So we'll have to do that on another time. But thanks for joining. And Deborah, yes, this is an amazing set. And I know I kind of hummed and hawed because this was one of the classes that I did during my one of the cards I did during my card class over the weekend, and I debated on which one to do because I know I've seen a lot of people using this set, but I think I have some new tips to show you that you may not have seen before, so I'm hoping. So hi Denise. So 7 a.m. in the morning. Wow. Well, thank you for getting up early. And are you having your morning cup of coffee and just relaxing, hopefully? So it's been a busy couple of weeks for me because I was, as most of you know, I was gone out of town nearly the whole of May, and then I came back and I needed to design and prep cards for our team meeting, and I'll show you those a little later. And then I had card class, so I needed design and prep cards for that too. So it's been a little bit of a whirlwind the last couple of weeks. And then I just have to tell everyone something exciting happened over the weekend. I have a new grandbaby, a new grandson, and he was born on Sunday, and at about 1 o'clock. And his name is Coulter Anthony, and he was 8 pounds 12 ounces and 21 inches. So I'm not allowed, I've got strict instructions from mom and dad not to post pictures yet until they've posted them on social media. So hopefully soon I'll be able to post a picture. But anyway, so it's been excited. And then my husband dragged me out car shopping on Monday. He's been wanting to do that. And I kept saying, not this week, I'm too busy. Next week, I promise. So Monday rolled around and he said, right, we're off car shopping. So we spent Monday car shopping. So anyway, I'm happy to be here and glad to see you all. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you're watching live, and also if you're watching the replay later, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to stick around because I do have lots of things to show you today. I have the other cards that we made in card class on Saturday, and I have my team projects to show you, but I'll show you those at the end. So if you're watching the replay, you'll have to fast forward if you only want to see the cards. Excuse me. But anyway, today, this is the card we're going to be making, or I'm going to be making. Excuse me, I have a little tickle. I wonder if I'm live on... oh, hi, Christine. Thank you, Denise, for the congratulations. Now, I see everybody watching is on YouTube. I wonder if I am live on Facebook too. I had a little trouble with the scheduling. And it was letting me schedule to YouTube and not Facebook. Excuse me, I'm just going to get a little drink because I've got a tickle. Quiet, Sylvie, quiet. Good girl. And I thought I fixed it, but I see everyone is watching on YouTube. So anyway, hopefully we're good. So anyway, I'm going to be using this beautiful set, this beautiful bundle, the Layers of Beauty. And this was like top of my list when I saw it, because not only does it have this beautiful stamp set, and I love line art like this because there's so many things you can do with it. You can do, like watercoloring, you can do a heat emboss and kind of like an emboss resist with sponging, you can do blends and then the matching dies. But it also comes with this set of masks. I always call them stencils, but Stampin' Up calls them masks. And you get 5, and I'm going to show you how to use these today. And like I say, I have seen a lot of other people using them. and doing videos, but hopefully I have a couple of new little tips to show you. So my plan was to use the in colors, the new in colors to make these. Oh, and before I forget, for the month of June, in case you don't know, you've been living under a rock, all the bundles, die bundles are on sale this month for an extra 10% off. So 20% off the cost of what you'd pay if you bought them individually. And this one is a really good deal because it comes with the masks also. So I think it's normally $50 something if you're in the US, and then it's for the bundle, and then it's like another 10% off. And our die cut and emboss machines are also 10% off. So I can never remember the official names of them, but I call them Big Boss and Baby Boss. So those are both 10% off, and including the blue one, the boho blue machine. So those are all 10% off too. So if you've had those on your list, now's a good time to get them. So anyway, back to this set. And my original plan was to use the new in colors. So I think I did the peach one, peach pie first, and then I think I did petunia pop. And I thought we really need like a bluish one. I'd seen some people doing blue ones, and I thought those looked really beautiful. So I did a blue one, and then I thought, well, that was silly because I'd used this designer series paper called, I think it's called Beauty Abounds or something like that. And it's got all the new in colors in it. So I did the blue one, and I thought, well, that's silly. That blue is not in that designer series paper. So for this one, I actually used this paper, which was in the last annual catalogue, and it carried over, or hopefully it's current, I think it is. And it's called Lighter Than Air, and it's all the balloons. It goes with the balloon bundle. So this piece, this blue background is from that one. So I thought I would make the blue one today because I really love how it came out, and I think it's really pretty. So let's get started. So let me put this to one side. So I am going to use my Stamparatus today to do this, but I'm going to show you a couple of other ways that you can do this really easily if you don't have a stamp positioner. But let me just show you quickly how I'm going to do this. So let's see. Oh, Denise is on Facebook. Hi, Denise. Good. Deborah says, I thought I ordered this set, but apparently not. Next order. Yes. Yeah, using masks and sponging is one of my favorite things to do. So you need to start out with, you need a piece of what I'm using. This is a big image, as you can see. It's bigger than it shows on the front of the stamp set. It's only shown at, a reduced size. So you can see it's a really big, covers the whole of the front of the card pretty much. So I'm using 1/4 of a sheet. So whatever that is, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I lined it up. In fact, for my class, what I did was I drew a line. Let's see, do I have a Sharpie? Yeah, what I did, and it doesn't matter if I get black on the paper because I'm going to die cut it anyway. But what I did is I lined it up in here, and then I just did this kind of black line. This is useful if you're doing multiples, and for my class, that way they knew where to put the cardstock, because you don't want it all the way into the corner, and the reason for that is because the masks are bigger. You're going to see in a minute. And then what I do is I use, you can you want to use something just to tape it down. Just a little bit, so, and make sure that it's pushed all the way into the corner. So we'll just put a piece there, and I like this mint tape. It's a low tack tape, and I think it comes from scrapbook.com, I think. So 3 is going to be good. And then the nice thing about using the stamp positioner is that when you start to put your masks in place, they're numbered. They have a little tiny kind of etched number in there, but I took my Sharpie and numbered them because they're kind of hard to see for my tired old eyes. And there's a notch at the top, so you always want to make sure you've got the notch in the same place for each mask. And the nice thing about using a stamp positioner is I can now put this all the way into the corner, and I know that each one is going to line up perfectly. I think you can see. And then I just use my magnet. I don't bother about taping each time. So that's how I like to do it. But before I start, let me just show you a couple of options so that you're not feeling, well, that's all very well, but I don't have a stamp positioner. Let me show you how you can do it on your trimmer. If you have a Stampin' Up! Trimmer, you can do it. You've got like a ridge here where this arm comes out, and then there's a kind of a ridge here too. So if I take another piece, I would fold this back probably, or even maybe take it out. You can just take it out. Didn't even think about that, but just pop that out and then it's not in your way. And you would need to figure out just where you're going to line this up. And again, you could maybe put some tape if you didn't want to mark on a, if you use a Sharpie or something, you can get it off later with alcohol, but you could just put maybe some tape so that you knew where you were putting this. But you could put this right here. So the same kind of thing, I'll just do one piece of tape. And then, let's just take let's take number 2. I'll tell you about these little arrows in a minute. Oops. That went back. And then you can do the same thing here. Now I would put tape here because this is not magnetic, so obviously a magnet isn't going to work. But I would just put another little piece of tape, a couple of pieces maybe to keep it in place. So Deborah says pretty ingenious. But wait, there's more. If you don't have a Stampin' trimmer, if you have a different trimmer that doesn't have like a little corner that you can put this into, I've got one more suggestion. Well, actually 2 more suggestions. So let's put the trimmer away. What about if you have a simply scored, if you have one of these? This is going to take up, let me put my Stamparatus out the way a second. This is going to take up the whole. What about if you have one of these? Oops, what's underneath? A simply scored. You can do the same thing on here. Obviously, I've got it turned around the way that I wouldn't normally use it. But again, I can use this 90-degree angle down here. So I can put my cardstock here. Now, before I do this, notice that there's these ridges designed for scoring. So probably what I would do here is take some chipboard from the back of a designer series paper pack. And I'm using the craft here, but you could use the white. I just picked craft so that you could see the paper more. And then again, you can just position this wherever you think you need it and draw a line around it, maybe if you're going to be doing multiples. And then again, you can put your stencil right into the corner. So that's a third option for if you don't have either a stamp positioner, like the Stamparatus, or your trimmer. And then if all else fails, if you don't have any of these, then what I would do is I would use grid paper or your glass mat. Your glass mat actually is perfect for this. I can see mine, but I'm not going to grab it right now. I haven't been using it because of the glare when I film. I use it when I craft, but not when I'm actually filming. I've got to figure out a solution to that. But just tape down your paper and your mask to the glass mat or a piece of grid paper and just mark where you're putting everything so that you can line it up in the same spot each time. But I think these 3 ways are pretty good. All right, so let's get back to the actual card and my Stamparatus. Grab that back. I've got a little shelf under my desk which is really handy. Oops. And you'll see I've got the stamp mounted here. I'm not going to be using that initially, but we are going to be stamping eventually too. So let's line, again, make sure this is pushed all the way in and line that up. So hopefully you like all those ideas. Now I'm going to be using for my inks, let's see, where is the best place to do this where I don't have too much glare? There's a ring from my light. So let's do it right there. So let me grab my inks. I'm going to use Azure Afternoon. Let's come down a little bit. And Older Olive. So let's just do my Azure Afternoon to start with. And then I've got one of my little blending brushes. Now, you can definitely, if you go onto Pinterest, you can see all kinds of color combinations. But because I was doing these in my card class and I was offering 4 different color options, I didn't want to use 3 different inks or 4 different inks, including the green, or maybe even 5 if you did 2 greens. I didn't want to offer that many colors for each card, because I would have had like a million blending brushes and a million ink pads, and it would have been just a bit over the top. So I'm going to show you how to do it with just 1 ink pad. And I was surprised. I thought Azure Afternoon might be too dark, but I was surprised at how nicely it came out. So I'm going to start off with my mask number 1, which is kind of the background layer, and I'm just lightly inking up my my blending brush, and you'll be able to see a little bit better. I know it's hard for you to see right now where the stencil is, but once we get some color in there, you'll be able to see better. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to tap off onto my mask. Let's just get a little bit more, because if I go straight from the pad to the into the cardstock, I'm going to get a big blob, and I want a really, really light layer for the first layer. So I'm just going to tap off, and then I'm going to hardly apply any pressure at all. I'm going in really, really lightly. Now the key thing is here is to do really light for the first layer, and don't forget that you can always add more, but you can't take it away once you've done it too dark. So you can probably hardly see this. And then I can go back here and pick up this blue from that I kind of tapped off. So we can go back, I can go back at the very end, even after I've stamped the outline. I can go back at the very end and add more of the first layer if I decide, I'm going to get just a little bit more. If I decide it's just a little bit too light still, I can even go back at that point. So the key thing is keep it really light, because you want a nice contrast too between the layers. All right, so that's good for my first layer. Get those little pieces. And like I say, I can go back if I want to. Then I'm just going to remove this, and let's see if I can tilt this. You can see a little bit. Can you see that a little bit? You'll see more as we go through the layers. Now, this cleans off super easy because it's a water-based ink. So you can just, I had like a little Tupperware with water in it, and people just dropped the masks in there, and then they just dried them off, rinsed them off and dried them off. So super easy. All right, let's grab number 2. Now, number 2, why I've got these arrows here is because this little bit here keeps catching for some reason. So I was just kind of drawing attention to it. So we're just going to be really careful sponging around that one. All right, so I've got my number 2 in here. That's weird. Is that lining up right? Did I do that right? Huh, I guess it is. Make sure again it's pushed all the way into the corner. And then this time I'm going to pick up a little bit more. I'm going to be a bit heavier this time, but again I'm going to tap off, and then I'm going to go in a little bit darker, and just in a circular motion. And then this part I'm just going to brush down in a downwards motion around that little bit that's sticking up, so that I don't catch it. Fortunately, because there's 3 layers, there's kind of room for a little bit of, you know, if it's not all quite perfect, it doesn't matter. And I keep going back to my ink pad, but of course I can pick up the extra from here too. You have to kind of work a little bit harder at those little tiny areas. Really get in there with the bristles. And again, you could go back with this layer if you decided it wasn't dark enough. And if it's a little bit, if it's not super smooth initially, if the ink looks a bit blotchy, Stampin' Up! Colors sometimes do that, and they should even out over time. So just give it a few minutes and it should even out. Okay, so there's layer number 2. And you can see it's starting to come to life. Now let's grab layer number 3. And again, we'll just put that in. And I love the ease of using the magnet. Now this layer we can go pretty dark, and I'm not even going to worry about tapping off on the mask. I'm just going straight in. I'm being daring and just going straight in, because this one we want nice and dark. Now, if you don't like, because you do get, doing these masks, you do get a pretty defined lines between the three masks. But if you don't like that, I saw another lady, I can't remember who was it. She used watercolor paper, and she spritzed the water paper very slightly with water to start with, and then she sponged, and the colors blended a lot more. Deborah says, don't forget thumbs up. Oh, thank you. Yes, don't forget thumbs up. So there's the 3 blues. So we're all done with blues right now. But like I say, if you decide that that lightest layer is too light, we can come back to that later, because nothing's going to be moving here. So now let's move on to green. So I'm going to put number 4 in, and this is the first one of the leaves. So I'm going to grab Old Olive. You could do whatever green you like. And again, you could do 2 different greens. But I'm just going to go super light again. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to tap off, and then I'm just going to go really light on that first layer. Oops, I moved it a little bit, but I think I'm all right. And again, I can pick up this extra color. And I'm not really applying much pressure here. I'm going pretty light, because I want it fairly soft for the first layer. There we go. That's the first one. And again, I don't think, maybe just do a touch darker so you can see it a little better. But yeah, the color combinations I've been seeing online from all the different people that have been doing it are just amazing, really gorgeous. But I like the ease of just using one color. So let me tilt this a little bit, see if you can see it a bit better. There we go. Right, so we've got one last one. So we're going to go a bit darker with this. Put my magnet back on. Make sure I've got my right brush. I label all my brushes, especially for class, so that, and I don't keep a brush for each color. I keep a brush for each color family. And then what I do is I just change the labels for my class. So ordinarily, I would just know, obviously I can see this is green. So if I'm just using it for my own crafting, I would know this is green. But for class, so that people know they're using the right brush on the right ink pad, I just stick a label on. And the same with the blue. I do keep like a dark blue and a light blue. But it's really easy to just change out the labels for class. All right, so this time I don't need to tap off, because I'm going to go in darker. And this is the last layer. And so, like I say, we can take a look. And if I decide I just want to go in like a little bit darker on that first layer of the blue, I can go and put that back in if I want. So make sure I just get into every little nook and cranny here. All right, let's pull that off. All right, so let's see if If you can see that now, how pretty that is. If I turn my light down a little bit, if I get less glare here. My switch has got buried. Oh, that's a bit better. Oh, look, that's better. Oh, that's better. Now you can see. I had it a little bit too bright. But wait, there's still more magic to happen. Isn't that pretty? So that's my blue and my green. Now, as you can see, I've already got my image set up. And I did this ahead of time, and I haven't moved it since we did class. And so this is going to stamp right over the top. You don't even need to use a stamp positioner, but it does really help. So again, you want to make sure, I'm just going to double check, I'm going to lift up my magnet and just make sure that this is pushed in all the way to the corner. Now, if you're using your trimmer or your scoring, what's that called, Simply Scored, and you don't have a stamp positioner, then you're just going to put this, you do need a big block, the very largest block. You're going to put this on the block and just stamp it by hand, and it is pretty easy to line up. You just got to take your time, but it sure is nice having the stamp positioner to do it. So I'm using Pebbled Path. It's a little bit softer than just black, and I liked how it came out. So I'm going to ink this up nicely. And again, if I don't get it all, I can do it again. And then I'm going to close. And then my friend Terry, her husband, made this doolally. I don't know what it's called, but it really works really nicely for applying some nice even pressure. So hopefully, let's lift up and look at that. How beautiful. Now I did miss a bit over on the left. I'm just going to close up, give it a little extra pressure over here. There we go. Isn't that beautiful? Now I can take it out. Let me close up my ink. Again, you could ink it up, re-ink it, and do it again if you're not happy with the first time. But let me lift this up and show it to you close up. Put the stamper out of the way. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that beautiful? And I don't know if you can see the blue, the light blue, it doesn't, you can see there. It definitely does show up against the white. In the pictures, in the photos, I think it shows, I don't know if you can see here against the, it's a very light blue, but I do like that actually. But you could definitely go darker with that layer if you wanted. You'll see in the pictures, I think, the contrast against the white. But, you know, it's up to you. You can go as light or as dark as you like. All right, so now we need to die cut this. And I do have a little die cut tip for you that you've probably seen before, but I'm going to show you again anyway. So here's the die. Some of you may not have seen it, so hopefully somebody is going to learn something new. The nice thing is with this die set too is that, so this goes on here like this, but this die here, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Zoom. There we go. This will also cut out, I believe, this flower here. So if you just wanted to cut this out to use maybe to pop it up on top of the rest of the image, or if you wanted this separate for inside the card or something like that, you could just cut this one out. I'm not sure if these other leaves cut out. Let's see, does this cut out something? I don't know. I'm not sure what this cuts out. I'm guessing something here, but does anybody know? If anybody knows, tell me. Maybe there's another image on the stamp set. Let's look. Oh, yes. It cuts out this little guy here, right here. That's what it cuts out. But obviously it's bigger in real life. Okay, let's get back to this. So when you're lining up these big dies, sometimes they're kind of tricky, and it's very nerve-wracking if you've just spent all that time on it and you're trying to line it up right. and get it right in the right position. So I have a little trick for you that, like I say, you may have seen. I'm going to grab all my die cutting stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, so I've got my base plate number 1, my extra little platform here, number 2, I forget what this is called. And then I've got one of my number 3 plates, and then my paper. And then what I did earlier, or actually before class, because we use these during class, is I just cut out, I just put the die on here. I didn't even have an image. I just put the die on here and cut it out. And then what you can do, you can lay this over, and I've got some washi tape somewhere. Let's see, do I have some washi tape? Oh yeah, right here. Or you can use that mint tape, actually. But I've got loads of washi tape. I'm sure you do too. And then you can line this up perfectly. You can kind of fiddle around till you get it just how you want it. And somehow it's easier to see with the die cut rather than the actual die. So when you're happy with it, and that looks good, just put some tape down on here. And don't forget, we're not worried about this part. One more. And then take your die, and it's just going to lock into place. So just put it down and then move it around, and you will feel it. My my plate here is not quite flat, so it's popping up just a little bit. But if you move it around, it locks right into place, and you won't be able to, like, that's locked in now. I can't move it. You don't need to. I'm gonna put a little washi tape on here just to make sure it doesn't move. My plate is a little bit warped, and so it's popping up. But with yours, you probably won't need to do this if you have a flat plate. But if you're not sure, just put a little piece of. I don't know if you can see that, but it's popping up a little bit. And I'm going to make sure it's locked into place. Why is it wiggling a little bit? And then we can put the other plate on. And I'm just going to turn around. My machine's right behind me. I'm just going to turn around and run this through. Whoops. And it should be take this off here, perfectly cut out, which it is. So let me move this stuff out of the way and I can show you. So there it is. Lovely. So that just, have any of you seen that one before? Oh, Deborah's obviously seen it before. She says she loves it. Yes, me too. Well, hopefully it's new for somebody, but it's a good reminder of these techniques because we all see them and then sometimes we forget about them, don't we? All right, let's bring back in the rest of the pieces for my card. So, that's the sentiment. So my card base is just afternoon, Azure Afternoon, and it's an 11 by 4 1/4, and then scored at 5 1/2. And then I've got my Designer Series paper and a white layer. Now, what I should have done is, you see, I already did this ahead because I didn't want to spend too long on this piece because I wanted the focus to be on this. But I could have die cut the white celebrates from here and save some cardstock. But I had it already stuck onto adhesive back sheets for my class and cut into little strips. But anyway, you could do that. If you were die cutting something, you could die cut it from under here. So this is 3 3/4 by 5, and then this is just an eighth bigger. So 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So let's stick these on. And that's, again, it's from that balloon paper. I'll put this on here. There's lots of other techniques you can do with this die too. I've seen people doing partial die cut techniques where they've had it on the edge of a card, which looks really pretty. You know, there's lots of different, I've seen people doing watercoloring and coloring with blends, all kinds. So yeah, really fun. So this, I think this may be balmy blue and not even Azure Afternoon, but I think it looks really nice. So you could choose whatever background you like. All right, then I've got a rectangle cut from the Deckled Rectangles, and I think it's the, let me see, I've got them here. I think it's the 4th from the largest. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's this one. Yes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4th down from the largest. 4th largest of the Deckled Rectangles. And then what I did, and it doesn't show up a lot, but I like to do it, is some little speckles. So I'm just going to take a pebble path blend. There's a few different ways you can do this, and I'm going to use the brush tip end, and all I'm going to do, and I'm going to grab a piece of grid paper, and all I'm going to do is I'm holding another blend, and I'm just going to tap quite firmly to get some, once it's not, oh, there we go. I think I may have been using another Pebble Path Dark that's got a bit more, oh, we're getting some now. You have to be quite hard. All right, so that's good. I'll show you up to the, I don't know if you can see, but I'll hold it up so you can see a bit better. Ooh, I don't know if you can see those speckles. Can you see them? A little bit, maybe. Ooh, there we go. So you can do some speckles and then attach this. So the assembly part is actually pretty easy once all your stenciling and die cutting is done. And there's a little tiny splodge there. I'm going to put that at the bottom and see if I can cover it up. It doesn't really show very much, but I think once everything else is on here, it's not going to show. And I'll just try and center. I can use my little lines to center this up, so I think that's pretty good. And then let's stick this on with dimensionals, and I'm going to use quite a few because it's a big, take this here, it's a big image. So let's put quite a few on. Make sure you get plenty around the edge. One there, one there, one there, and then maybe a couple in the middle. Should be good. And backings of these quickly. Let's see. Hi, Mary. Oh, it's some more people, more comments. Susan says, beautiful, not so intimidating once you see it used. Oh, that's great. I'm glad. Thank you. And Mary says, great tip. Susan, is the dark blue piece used as the guide just cardstock? Oh, for the die cutting? Yes. In fact, that was just a piece of, you mean this piece, right, Susan? Oops. You mean this piece here, right? Yeah, that's, in fact, that's a piece of Starry Sky that retired, and I had some cut. So I just used that. But if you want to use something that's a bit, because that does get a bit worn, you know, after a few uses, you could maybe, you could even do something like that and laminate it even. You'd have to laminate it first and then die cut it. I don't know if the die would go through. I'm trying to think what you could use that would be more that longer lasting, that wouldn't, you know, get, let's see, what am I doing here? I'm going to put this way. Decide how you want it on your card. I'm going to do it like this, just about there. So isn't that pretty? Now, the stamp set does not have, it has a few sentiments. It has happy anniversary, grateful for you, you make my heart smile, God bless. What I thought would be nice is to do a big die cut word on the front. And I thought if we use celebrate, you could do the happy anniversary, or you could do a birthday. So let's see, what did I do inside this one? This one I did happy birthday. And then on, I think it's the peach pie one, I did happy anniversary. So I thought celebrate on the front was nice. If you wanted to make this like a sympathy card or some other occasion, obviously you could stamp a word to put on the front, stamp it and put it on a little die cut tag. But the glimmer foil is from, it's Old Olive, so it goes with the leaves, and it's from a set, an online exclusive set of glimmer paper that has a sheet of Old Olive, Berry Burst and white. So I thought that looked nice, and you could pop it up on dimensionals or just put it flat. And the dies I used for this are from this set here, Wanted to Say. So I use these two to celebrate. And there's a happy birthday, there's what does that one say? Feel better soon. Happy birthday. Oh, what does that one say? You're too kind. That one. I'm trying to remember what they all say. So there's a few different ones, and there's some other little images too. But I liked the celebrate because I didn't want to cover up too much of the flower. So this one I didn't pop up on dimensionals, but I think I'll pop this one up and see what it looks, if it makes it pop off the page a little bit more. Let's try. So anyway, I just did the white from Basic White, and then the only trouble is hard to put the dimensionals on this little piece. Let's see what happens. Yeah, and then I did the white, had the white cardstock on adhesive sheets, so it would be easy to attach to the glimmer paper. And then let's put this on here. Just about, is that straight? Just about like that. Oh, I think I like it on dimensionals. You probably can't see the difference on camera, but it does pop off the page a little bit more. And then to embellish, now on the in color ones, I use the in color shimmer gems, but those didn't work with the blue. So I actually pulled out these, which I think are new in the annual catalog. They're called Basic Grey and Smoky Slate Pearls. So they're kind of like a silvery, the lighter ones I like. They're kind of like a silvery color. So I thought those would go pretty well. Oops, there's just one that fell off. Let's just use that. See if I can put it on. Go on, get on there. It's stuck to my finger. I'm trying to get it to sit down on the, use my Take Your Pick tool. See if I can get it. Don't want to waste it. There we go, got it. So we'll just put that one there. In fact, that looks like a darker one. So, all right, we'll use darker ones then. It's a bit hard to tell which are the darker and the lighter, actually. And then we'll just put a little one down here. So these are the Smoky Slate and these are the Basic Grey, but I think they both look nice. But you could see what other embellishments you had that would go. Also, you could, these lighter ones, I bet you could color. I bet you could color with Azure Afternoon and make them matching if you liked. But I'm happy with the silver. Okay, so, and then for inside, I'm not going to do the inside now because I want to show you my other cards, but I just did, there's another little stamp, another little flower stamp. I just stamped that a couple of times and then did happy birthday, or like say whatever sentiment for the inside that you like. But I think the star of the show is obviously the flowers. So let me bring back in the other ones that I did. So here's Peach Pie. Trying to show you the best angle. And here's Petunia Pop. And like I say, this designer series paper is from the, I think it's called Beauty Abounds. I'll list all the supplies afterwards anyway. But that one turned out really pretty. Window sheet, someone says, for the die cutting. Yeah, window sheet would work well. I like having a dark piece though, because it's easy to see the contrast. So that's why the black or the starry sky works, whereas window sheet would be a little harder to see. But anyway, and then here's the pink one, which I think is really pretty and pink. And this designer series paper has a little bit of the peach in it too, so it's kind of like a pinky peach. I think that's really beautiful. So that's those. And then let me show you the other cards that we made in class. And then I'll show you my team. In fact, let me show you my team projects first. So we have a Zoom meeting once a month. Oops, that's one of my cables get in the way. We do a team meeting every month, and I design a class for my team, and I mail them out, or they come pick them up if they're local. And then at the end of our meeting, we put them all together. So this time we used the Charming Duck Pond, or Lilliput Lane is the name of the designer series paper. So here's one of the cards that I actually cased from the catalogue. I don't know if you can see that all right like that, hopefully. And there's the inside. And so this is all cut from the designer series paper, and then these are obviously die cut from cardstock. And then there was this one. It has this lovely die in the dies. And that was like that inside. And then this is a fun fold. So it opens. And it's kind of like a card within a card. You open it like this. And then there's another little card there. And then I just did happy birthday 3 times, getting lighter each time. So that's that. And then I had received this box when I was in Mexico on the incentive trip. I received a box from another demonstrator, Marcy Beseca. In fact, I could show you. Do I still have hers? Yeah. This is the box that Marcy made. And I thought it was just a really cute box. Like, you may have seen this. I may have shown it to you on another Facebook Live. But it's cool because now this is kind of unstuck a little bit because I took it apart to see how to make it. But what's nice is it folds flat. So you could make up a bunch of these ahead of time if you were going somewhere and you needed them as gifts, and take the contents separately. And then you can just, all you have to do is kind of squish it in like that and put your stuff inside and put your little, you wouldn't even have to do a belly band. You could do like a Velcro or a magnet or whatever you wanted for the fastening. So anyway, I thought that was really cute. So I did ones with the ducks for my team. We did this one with the pink gingham. That's so pretty. I love that paper. And then this paper is really pretty too. And then we had shortbread cookies inside that I gave to my team. So those were my team projects. So we have a lot of fun every month. So if that sounds like something you'd like to do, we're called the Groovy Stampers, then reach out to me and I'll tell you how you can sign up to be part of my team. We have a Facebook group where we do lots of challenges and interaction too, and it's a fun time. All right, so my other cards from class, let's see, I got a bunch of them. All right, so this one is the Friendly Fins stamp set and a bundle. And so there were 3 different ones that I did. And this is a really cute die set. I don't know if you can see, but there are these little bubble dies that that you can die cut. So we did like a watercolor wash in the background. And then one of these cards, hopefully he's not watching, I don't think he watches, but one of these cards is going to be for my grandson. His birthday's on, he's going to be 13 on the 29th, and he wants to be a marine biologist, and he loves, you know, anything like this. So I think I'm either going to give him the hammerhead shark, because I know he likes sharks, or the rays, manta rays, because he actually swam with manta rays, I think at the aquarium in Monterey. So I'm going to give him one of these for his birthday. And then we did this card. Now this one I actually cased from a demonstrator called Cindy Brumbaugh. Not sure if I'm saying her name right. She did her fold a little bit differently though. This is what I call like a modified bookbinding fold, because it's just like one piece of cards, regular cardstock, for a card, top fold, and then you just attach this bit down, and then you let me see, you just score it, and then you just put another panel on here. She did it a little differently, and it looks slightly different, but I kind of cased the overall design from her and did three different color options. So it could be a birthday card or a Father's Day card. So it was the day before Father's Day, my class. And here's the other one. So that's with the Adventurous Skies, I think is the name of this bundle. So that was a fun one. And then the last one, do you remember 2 weeks ago, those of you that saw me 2 weeks ago, I did these duck pond fan fold cards. Do you remember this? That was 2 weeks ago, and I told you that I was going to do one like this in my class, but with a different paper. So those came out really nicely. So here's one of them. So this was using the Thoughtful Journey, I think is the name of the paper, and Thoughtful Wishes, I think, is the name of the bundle, maybe. So anyway, these came out really nice, I think. So there's that one, and then this one, and this one. I couldn't stop making samples. And then there were a couple other color combinations too, but these came out really nice, I think, and they fold flat to go in an envelope, and then when you stand them up, they kind of stand like that. And then we put white sheet on the back where you can write, because obviously there's nowhere to write. So anyway, Deborah says that will be cool. Yeah, I think he's going to like that card, my grandson. So I thought, I can kill two birds with one stone here. I can design a card for class, and then I can give one of them to my grandson. So anyway, I have a few extra kits made up. So if you would like to get a set of kits to make one of each of the cards. So this one, the one with the planes, and the one that we just did today, and then what's the fourth one? Oh, and the fish. If you would like a set of those, you would need to have the stamp sets. I can't do any stamping for you, but you would need to have the stamp sets or something similar. Then if you place a $40 order with me, I'll send you those kits free. All the die cutting and prepping will be done, and I'll send you the PDF so that you can put them together. So just place a $40 order with me. My website is at the top, and then my host code, and I would love to do that. I'd love to get to find homes for those extra kits, so just let me know. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me today. Don't forget about the bundle sale, and I'll be back in 2 weeks with another fun project. But again, thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you liked the card, and hopefully it's inspired you to make some, even if not with those masks, but maybe some other ones that you have, and maybe you'll try out some of those little techniques that I showed you. Anyway, I'll post all the directions, all the supplies that I used afterwards, and have a great rest of the day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now, everyone.